right, so thank you so much. I want to welcome all of you to our meeting today. Just a quick one. The Presbyterian Church of Ghana has a ministerial entrance exams. Regardless of your presbytery, you would have to go through this process. We got a chance of sitting for one of these exams 15 years ago. And so right from there, personally, I gained interest in having that kind of close contact with persons that express the desire of responding to the word of God and responding to the higher calling. So it's a voluntary service that I so do as part of my ministry. So it's a ministry. So it's not a fee-paying program. No, it is voluntary, and we're doing it as part of our shepherding ministry. So thank you so much. You are not under any obligation to remain a member of it. You can exit anytime you feel exiting. All right. Let me first of all congratulate you for coming into the clergy ministry. That once you have set forth your heart to get into this clergy ministry, I want to tell you that you have made the right choice. God wants you to serve him and serve him with all decorum. So congratulations on your recommendation by your respective presbyteries to write the ministerial exams this year. It's a great honor that the Lord has done you. And I would want to tell you that please don't joke with this calling. It is the greatest calling, which is why I attach more seriousness to it. That if you want to go to the medical school, you want to go to the law school, and other areas, you write entrance exams, and people so prepare for such exams. I have written, by the grace of God, Legon, written and passed Legon Law School before. Just as I got the pass notice, we had to move to Australia here, and the kind of preparation that went into it. I wasn't surprised that some sit for that same paper and they don't make it, because if you don't prepare, there are some key things that you need to observe, which if you don't prepare, you will not be in the position to handle it. And therefore, if you want to know a bit about me, by the grace of God, I will always share to encourage you to know that you are in the right place. It is in the public domain. You can just check www.awuku-Gyampoh.me and you get it there. Or you can go to www.awuku-Gyampoh.academia.edu. Currently, I'm a student, and I love to say I'm a student. Currently reading my Doctor of Philosophy at the South African Theological Seminary. I'm majoring in practical theology and looking at youth ministry. My concern is how we can retain the youth in the church. By the grace of God, I have some small doctorate degree in management, which I used 7 years to complete. And so I say, you know what? I dedicate that doctorate to God. It hasn't been a small boy journey at all, but I dedicate it unto God. After my ministerial training, it was just a grace, because I entered Trinity Seminary as a post-secondary student. I had finished training college, taught, for 3 years. And so at that time, when you come in and you are a trainee, you are a teacher, no matter what you say, no matter your grade from your SHS, you will still be made to do diploma. I remember myself and the current clan director, national, Reverend Esther Odro, we had to fight and say, come on, we qualify for, anybody that, went to the university with set grades and has an exposure at the training college. I said, no. So we had to do theology for 3 years. And I remember the promise they gave us that if you're able to do theology for 3 years and you get extension, then we'll call you again to do your degree. And that was the hallmark, to finish the theology at the seminary for 3 years and then call back again to continue. And that was historic. It hasn't happened before that you finish your diploma and you be called back. By the grace of God, just to encourage you, we made the extension. Those times, all the persons doing a degree, we sat in the same class. And so we were called back again. And then we did the degree. Again, we had first class. At that time, getting somebody who has sat in the class and done almost 67 courses, I was tired. I was tired of theology. I said, you know what, let me divert. So I diverted and I went to KNUST to do my master's in public administration. And I did it for 2 years. It was very encouraging. At that time when I finished, I remember the registrar came home. So, when you're a TA, the students like you, so we want to give you offer to come and teach. At that time, I had applied again to UCC for a second master's. So I said, well, I'll teach voluntarily. I'll teach when I'm ready. And so I taught organizational management at the MBA class for a year. And I realized it was disturbing me. So I concentrated on my Master of Science at the University of Cape Coast. And I finished that one. Just as I was about finishing University of Cape Coast, I got the admission for the doctorate and became a divided attention. That's why the studies have delayed, because I was just doing double. And I thank God that I'm here. All that I'm telling you is to tell you that if you want to become a sophomore, you have the edge, you have the opportunity to continue to study and widen your knowledge. Do not allow this to be the end and say, I'm coming to be a sophomore. And so that is no way. The Presbyterian Church of Ghana is an icon that has been known for academic work, and in the academia sector, much laurels have been chalked. Our forerunners, we have professors upon professors, we have persons with doctorate, persons with a doctor of management, a doctor of ministry, a number of them. And so I want to encourage you that let this be a stepping stone for you and aspire higher to the glory of God. We give God all the glory for the honor done us. Currently, I'm in Australia, and I'm the chief servant here in Australia. Let me exhort you with 1 Timothy chapter 3, verse 1. 1 Timothy chapter 3, verse 1. And the good thing about the 1 Timothy account is the fact that here is a trustworthy saying. Whoever aspires to be an overseer desires a noble task. Let me use the word overseer carefully and cautiously, because in other version, it can have whoever desires to be a bishop, or whoever desires to be a presbyteros, a presbyter. Will come back. It's a bit of Greek and has a lot of connotations. So let me rest here and say that the exposition on this theme has to do with the office of a bishop. The Greek is a single word, episkopos. The episkopos is a word from that Greek word means episcopal. And when you talk about episcopal, you want to mean the bishop. So the office of the bishop, if you desire it, you have desired a good one. But in the Presbyterian Church, we are the synodal, and so we don't use the episcopal system that says that where the bishop is where the church is. We say that where the Lord is, where the word of God is, so that we have the centrality of the word of God, Christ-centered. We are Christology, where Christ remains the center, looking at the will, the purpose, and the function of what the Bible gives us is what we use. But still going back to my subject matter, the man desires the office of bishop. More accurately rendered, if a man seeketh, as the King James Version will say it, as you are seeking now. So if you seek to become a minister of the Presbyterian Church of Ghana, then this is what we have to say. That still looking at the pastoral epistle, the Greek word rendered bishop, and again, the same thing as I said, can be a presbyter or elder. So the episcopos or presbyteros, episcopos or presbyteros is applied on so much a different concern or indifferently to the same person for up to a period where we have AD 65 to 66. Just to tell you, because you are now becoming a theologian. He desires a good work. So whether you are a presbyteros, whether you are episcopos, whether you are an elder or an SMT candidate, you have desired a good work. It is a perfect work that you have done with all standards. It means that God has something better for you. Why is it? Because the apostle, by this phrase, determines this employment lawful. So you have taken the lawful employment and under due circumstances to be desired. You desire it before you get it. To desire something means you yearn for it. Because you desire. Maya fanye wetuma susuma efi ejane woba. So you desire the Holy Spirit. So the ministry that you are into or getting into is a ministry that you must desire it. It's so you don't follow what people say. And as of Democrats say, no, you are entering into it, and so you must desire it. That he who desires it, said your frontier, a condom, said ya, if you come at the abodia, or yen is a wunyan sooner or no bull sooner, so must you desire. Say Juma and Yankopon de Amami, me con doctor, me de Jumano, de Jumano, no being besides that there, say me de Jumano. Desire it. And that is the only way you can know the secrets of the ministry. But if you complain, then you are digging your own challenges in the ministry. Desire it, dream about it, sit with it, dance with it. Everything should be about the ministry. He desires a good work. Because the office of a bishop or elder or pastor of a church is a work, and a very laborious one. Don't be scared by the use of the word laborious. Laborious in the sense that such laborers in the word and doctrine, they are called into to be laborers of the word and doctrine. You are called to the practical dogmatic. You are called to do theology, the theos and the logia. You are called to study the word of God, because you can't study God. You cannot study God, but you can study the nature of God. You can study the purpose of God. You can study God through the testimonies of other people. You can study God through his revelation, because he continues to reveal himself to us. So the work you have taken is that now you're not going to study anything. You're going to study the power of God. Unyu mason, ampa, unyu mason. Now you are going to learn the numano esono. Papa ni numano esono. That's what you're going to learn. It is not mere honor and titles. No, Reverend Evangelist, Reverend Kekebi, Reverend Bishop. No, It is not about titles. Reverend Emeritus, Reverend Prophet 1, Prophet 3, Prophet 4. No, it's not about titles. There's more to titles. It's not a profit-making enterprise. No. Desiring to please God is a ministry that the Lord has called you into. And if you do it this way, you will enjoy and be the happiest person on earth. Now, however, it's a business of labor and care. So that if you have a business mind and you get into the ministry, it helps you, because a business mind will always talk about competitive advantage, to always make sure that your ministry is embellished, is always on the public domain. You always decorate the ministry to other people. So a business mind is always customer satisfaction, making sure that you satisfy your customers. Say, in your mind, say a business. I'm not saying that get it as business as making profit, but get it as business. I need to satisfy my customers for them to patronize my commodity. It like that, and he says, "Oh, I'm also if you transfer me, I'll get a different church." No way. If you do that, you are spoiling your ministry, because you might think that, oh, when I spoil this station, I'll get another station to go. But wherever you go, the seed you sowed at the initial station will follow you up. Oh, so if we know about or where you're and the ayeka ofia. Hey, where you're papa. It is marketing. Why will you buy a particular water, bottled water? You buy it because of reviews. You buy it because of recommendations. And so you must desire that you are going to sell your ministry to the glory of God. A famous and excellent one. You must make your church a famous one. You must make your church an excellent one to the glory of God. Of course, in the grading system, when you have excellent, that is the initial part. Excellent is in line with distinction. So he said, desire the excellence. You have the excellency of power. That is what you are desiring to be. And so I want to congratulate you for desiring this wonderful role. And this wonderful is a journey that, as you have come in, a journey of no return. Just do it unto God. Because at the end of the day, you've got to give account of your stewardship. Ladies and gentlemen, if you are desiring the office of a presbyter, pastor, bishop of the church, St. Paul it said that in his days, it was very difficult and a dangerous position. Why was it dangerous? And currently, how is it? It involves a labor, much labor. It was full of risk. Not only that, it meant a hard and a severe life for the people. Yet from the Christian point of view, it was a way. Jumano so nenso apafonu sa mirim paba nyami beye biara nyami etie mi free mesomu maye debi menya marketia meye nyami ajuma meye nyami ajuma. Ejuma no so nenso apafuo no sa mirim paba nyami beye biara nyami etie mi free mesomu mayo dachi menya marketia. It is a work that you are doing, very laborious, very, very much involving. It involves so much risk, but do it, and tomorrow you'll be rewarded for what the Lord has given you. Notwithstanding, as you faithfully perform your role of all your toys, it is the most beautiful, it is the most honorable, it is the most noble task that you are doing. So once again, I congratulate you, and may God richly bless you for being part of today's opening segment. Now, what is it about a special ministerial training? And my focus will be on the special ministerial training. And then if later on there are other Trinity Theological Seminary students, we will handle them differently because they have a different set of questions. The special ministerial training, known as SMP, is made up of 4 papers that you write, especially if you want to enter. You have 4 papers. The first one is a general paper. We call it the GP. So when I say GP, you should understand. The New Testament, which is called the NT, the Old Testament, which is called the OT, and then the English language, which is, we say English, like that. I want you to be aware of the English language because that would be the point of departure for all the other courses that we'll be doing. Because the English should be a medium of exchange and a medium of instruction. So therefore, we will be using 90% of English because at the end of the day, you're going to write the thing in English. Unless maybe there are others that you might want a local language to explain it to you. Because I want to tell you that this is also one of the good forum we have, and therefore you'll be able to express yourself very well. And when you make any mistake, maybe we might correct because we are all preparing for a scholarly exam. And so if you make any mistake and a friend corrects you, you don't see it as an offense. No, because if a friend leaves you, you go and write the same phrase, which perhaps you made it wrongly, and you might think it's correct. That is also not to say that you're not going to talk at all, because it's a classroom, and we believe in dialoguing to make sure that we come out with all our nuances and bring all misconceptions and be able to handle it carefully at that point. I read an article by one man, let me acknowledge him, Peter Banahene, and the article Peter Banahene wrote, oh my God. Peter Banahene looked at the Black leadership of the church and spoke about our hypocritical attitude, or the fact that we only look at the bad side of human beings and we fail to acknowledge. And for him, he based his argument on the fact that, look at a bishop like Archbishop Desmond Tutu, look at Martin Luther and co, who really fought. And for me, I was so much enthused reading about this great man's piece, that he was able to tell them that, listen, those people who came, Martin Luther and co, fought for us. They fought against racism. They fought against sexism. They fought and to be able to uphold the Black, culture. Why are we, the present 21st century leadership, why do we suppress one another? Why do we suppress, people around us? And so that should not be part of our lives, to suppress anybody. Anybody who is gifted, anybody who has any power, allow the person to function, allow the person to use their talent. By so doing, we will glorify God. We will glorify God. I pray that as we are here, nothing of ours, nothing of our behavior will seem as suppressing anyone. No. Will seem as suppressing anyone. If anyone's attitude is seen as suppressing, please allow and then inform me immediately so that we bring that to order. We are all sharing ideas to the glory of God. Now, you're going to write the paper somewhere middle of November. The date hasn't come. The English language has 1 hour, 20 minutes. And I want to tell you that you need to be fast with the English language. Yeah, English language paper has 1 hour, 20 minutes. And in that 1 hour, you have section A, comprehension. And the comprehension has a passage about half a page, with 6 questions, at least. So it could be that you can have more of that, but not below. And that carries 10 marks. And again, you can have second passage, followed by The second passage follow by, or it follows by, if I use it, then there's going to be follows by 6 questions, right? And that's also 10 marks. Then again, synonyms. And the synonym, that is, if it is deliberate, it is intentional, something like that. So whilst we start to do this, you have to be also, any word you see, try to find the synonym of it. Try to be a bit kind of inquisitive to find out any word you see, any word that someone uses quickly. You this time you have Google it, check the synonym, and get a book. Try to get a book and try to keep the synonyms of such words, because it's going to flow through. It's going to flow through. Now again, you have section B. Also has 10 questions, choosing a word to fill in a sentence. Choosing a word to fill in a sentence. So you expect something like that. When you have the picture of what you're going to meet, it becomes very good. It becomes very good for you. So when I finish this one, I'll pause for you to also ask few questions as far as it is concerned. Now let's go here. Section C, up to 15 questions. Nearest in meaning. Nearest in, and this is a typical of a WASI. It's a typical of a WASI. Seriously, it's a typical of a WASI. I'm sure. Yes, I did write exams, tech entrance exams. Also something like this. Yes. So if you also have a WASI, some of the WASI questions you can try your hands on. It's very important. Just try your hands on the WASI papers you see around. Don't joke with them at all. They're very, very powerful. As I'm saying, if you get BC paper, just this time, anything you lay your hand on, just do it. If it's a BC English, just pick it and lay your hand on and see how you can master it. Pick a WASI, lay your hand on and see how you can master it. If there is anybody selling any compiled WASI, what do you call it, past questions that have been solved, just take it and try your hand on. I mean, every day try. And in the English, you should understand that a lot of people have been getting down on that area, and so you must try. Don't play with some of the things that come. Oh, they are simple crap, bro. For the assembly, no, learn it. And you're going to score it. Now, the B part also 15 questions. That can be 13 to 15, like that. Sometimes can be 14. But let me just say it's at 15 so that you know what you're expecting. And then it's also 15. That's also nearest in meaning. So you see what is happening now? You have the synonym. Synonym will come. The synonym usually will come from the passage 1 and 2. They'll bring it, they'll pick something from the passage and ask you maybe 5 of the words, get a synonym to fit in. And you have to go back to the sentence and see if you're not vocabulary inclined, you can't do that part. No. So you have to be vocabulary inclined and try to be very active in your search. Then you come to the nearest in meaning. So you can give you a word, and then what's the nearest in meaning of this one? And then they can give you most nearly opposite. They can give you a word, like as you know, any word at all, and then you try to find the like synonym and antonyms. Okay, all right. Then again, you have something like a E. The E part is most suitable fill in. Most suitable to fill in, and that will be the part for you. And then the F part will also be an essay. And over the years, the essay part can be a debate, can be a letter, can be a report or a memo. So you have to master all the 4 areas, assuming, but of course, you have 2 of them to select one. So usually you either select a debate, a report, or a letter. So know the format. If it's a letter, how do you look at the current way of writing a letter, the current way of addressing? All those things will be studied. How do you address if it's a letter? They're not saying, they don't want to see that you are good in English or something. They want to see the format, because the format alone takes a greater marks. If it's 30 marks, the format should take about 10. The formatting of how you write the thing. If it's a debate, you first of all must declare your stand. So get samples of debates that they have written online, samples of it, and just look at how it goes. Look at how, because presenting a debate is different from writing an essay. Mr. Chairman, ladies and gentlemen, colleague, my opponent, the subject and the discussion is so and so. My name is this. I wish to speak for the motion. And I speak for the motion on the background that when you talk about this, this is how it means. And I know my opponent to raise an argument in these areas. However, before he raises it, or as he has raised it, I also stand to debunk all those ideas and say that my point stands because A, B, C, D. Secondly, Mr. Chairman, so debate is different from letter. Maybe you want to write a letter to the moderator of the General Assembly or the President of Ghana. Remember, as the moderator, it's an official letter, and therefore you must have the recipient address, your recipient address, the date. Where must the date be? Where must the address be? We must look at all those things. Things have changed. To address back or right, back or left. But before say, go ahead, say this time. I want to end here, and because I gave you the English, the other ones will come with time, but also not a problem at all. Looking at what has happened in the past, it's not a problem. It's not a problem. I know you will surely meet all those papers. If you want to pick a paper like the New Testament, I don't have it on the screen quickly, but if you want to pick a paper like New Testament, you must understand that everything from Matthew to Revelation can drop. Everything from Matthew to Revelation can drop. So with the New Testament, you're going to have something like objectives. You're going to have objectives, and so you must prepare yourself with objectives. And you can have up to 100 objectives. So you can have 100 objectives. Please note that. And they are multiple choice, usually A to D. And so if it is A to D, then you can have something like 1 up to 100. As I told you, it runs through every area, every corner. And so you must learn to read wide. But we will divide it when we are studying it. We divide the books, and most of the books we will study them. Most of the books we study them. Last year, all your colleagues that came for the classes, all of them passed. All of them passed, and all of them were taken. It is my prayer that this year you make us proud as well, and we'll get to see what it goes and how it goes. Now that Old Testament, in dealing with the Old Testament too, as I said, the New Testament is 100 questions, all objectives. Sometimes you can have fill-in. They can just give you about 5 of them to fill in. And I remember last 2 years, my friends who wrote the exams came back shouting because they changed the terrain. They changed the terrain. And the terrain was that sometimes they can go to maybe Colossians and tell you in Colossians chapter 1, then they will write it and leave a space and expect you to put the end up. So wow. So last year we did an exegetical study. We picked the books. We studied the book. We studied Timothy. We studied Galatians. We studied Ephesians. We studied. So we studied all those areas. So I wasn't surprised that they passed because it was an intensive study. And so, and they were able to do that. For me, it's a great joy that all of them went through. Let's see. In the Old Testament too, please, you are going to have 100 questions. 100 questions. And majority of the 100 questions will be shading A to D. You select one. A to D. You select one. But some of these questions also from Genesis to Malachi, my good prophet, minor prophet, Malachi. will tell you about tithing. So Genesis, it picks it from there like that. And so with this book too, we're going to deduce them and delineate them, of course, by looking at it from the Genesis account. After the Genesis account, we can also look at it again from grouping the other terminologies. We can also group the other terminologies, and after grouping all those terminologies, we come to maybe the letter of Moses, and after the laws of Moses, we can come to the monarchy and look at the kingship, and after the kingship, we can also whose line is ringing? I think something is ringing. Do you hear it?
Yeah, I hear as well.
I don't know who is calling what. Sometimes maybe it's from me. Something is ringing.
From you.
Anyway, let's continue. That's sometimes that's happening like that. All right. So that is what I'm saying. So okay. I get it here. Yeah. I've seen it. That's fine. I've seen where it's coming from. Sorry about that. Yeah, so we'll group the Old Testament too. Once we group the Old Testament, that will also help you. We'll group it and look at the minor prophet, major prophet, look at the beginning of the Bible, come to the middle, the Israel, the journey. We'll come there, and then we also move to some of the small books over there. This morning, I was just reading, and for the first time in my life, I read that a professor followed me on academia.edu, and his name is Bell. And Bell is one of the renowned professors of Old Testament. And he had written an article on the commentary of Ruth. And it was the first time I realized that other scholars say that Samuel was the author of Ruth, of the book of Ruth. I said, wow, revelation. But I hadn't gone there because I'm not an Old Testament scholar. I just focus in my area, but it was good also noticing that for the first time I've noticed that Samuel scholarly was the author, but still it's not been proven, so we hold it anonymous for that. These are the things that we'll be reading more to discover some of the truth. All that we want to do is to discover the truth. Theology is all about discovering the truth about the one who has called us, the truth about the one who keeps us, the truth about the one who has said that he will not leave us. The last part I'm talking about as we end is to look at the general paper. And with the general paper, I want to plead with all of you to help us look at the happenings of the church, the happenings in Ghana. We cannot do anything because now every question about general paper will be Ghana based. Maybe about 2 or 3 will be general, because the paper you're writing, if you're in North America, you're still writing the papers your friends in Ghana and elsewhere are writing. And so we can really decentralize papers that are meant for you to be different. No. Now, the general paper is a bit technical. It started changing 5 years ago when at that time my catechist and co wrote the paper, and it turned. They brought mathematics. It hadn't been before that we saw mathematics in the paper, but that year, I think 2014, they brought mathematics in the system, and ever since it's followed in that order. And so you can have the general paper, you can have sections A, B, and C. Sections A, B, and C, 3 sections. And the section 1 will be 40 marks, where sometimes they ask you to write something, make a presentation, and say that answer any 2 questions from the session, and credit will be given for clarity of expression and orderly presentation of materials. So that is where we are now, where general paper is asking you to make a serious presentation. Now, in making the presentation, you must understand that sometimes you can bring a question. This year, expect an essay or expect a question on this coronavirus. So in one of our assignments, we all try to write our response to the coronavirus that has come. One of the professors of my choice, Professor Samuel Jidu, has written a book on coronavirus, the faith through coronavirus, the experience from Hosanna to Pentecost. I know it's a must read. When you go to the page of Trinity Theological Seminary, he started some reflections on that page, and I encourage you to Google it and listen. He's a well-learned man, and in his area as Pentecostalism and African theology, he's got so much to tell us about some of these areas. So if you get time, you go to Trinity Theological Seminary Facebook page and watch some of the wonderful videos being posted there. Now, so some of these questions are current questions, mind-blowing questions that will come. And I know we'll be going through some of the past questions, and you get to know. Last year, they got a question on Vision 1.5 of the Presbyterian Church of Ghana, which is aimed at growing members of the church, 1,500,000 in the next 5 years. Explain the vision and suggest ways by which this target can be achieved. And you can know this is a heartbeat of the church. And so you must also prepare something around that area. Once they've written it, I'm not too sure if it's going to be repeated, but still, it should be a working document if students are able to make a paper presentation on that. That's fine. Then another area you can have, they give you about for you to select 2 and write on them, and that carries 40 marks. The journal paper, again, you can have all questions can come. They can even bring questions from the Bible again and put it there. They can bring questions on the past moderators. And your first assignment that I'll give you is please go and gather questions on or make a presentation of all the past clerks of the Presbyterian Church of Ghana, all the past moderators of the Presbyterian Church of Ghana. Please, all those things, you have to get them at your fingertips and get all the departments that you have, the department and the departmental heads. Department and the departmental heads. Please get them. You have to know them by heart. The department, we have 7 departments. Please get them and get their departmental head. Then please, one thing you should know, get a constitutional representative of Ghana. The history of the church is behind. Please, please. Presbyterian suffer. Know your history about the church in which you want to serve. So these are the 4 apart that I've given you. Please write them and try to make your own notes. It's very important. So the other ones are also about something that can give you acronyms for you to write the meaning of it, and still centered around Africa and the world. Work on those things, and they can bring something on nutrition as well. And where we need to lay emphasis this year will also be the mathematics. They can bring mathematics. Of course, is the simplification, expansion, and not so much. The profit and loss, kind of the these are the basic one, and still linking us to the SHS maths, and BC. These are things that we will not consider, and I'm sure they are bringing it because as a minister you need to also be well versed in the finance of the church. The director of finance will bring you, Papa, last year we got this one balance sheet, and you can't know your left from right. So these are some of the things I'm sure they are bringing for records and for our own good. All right. So far, that is the general paper we can predict, but we can just be looking at those areas and try to look at how the compound interest and all those financial arrangement, blah, blah, blah. We'll try and pick up some subject areas and get some few people who are gurus in that field to help us. So in this presentation or in our class, I'll also be doing some outsourcing, bringing in some facilitators, which I know and I feel it can be of help to us in other areas, to also come in and please help us in that area. Yes, I am a mathematician, but I prefer I get another resource person to come and handle you in those areas, the mathematical area. And I also, yes, I speak English, but I also would want to ask that I'll get an English teacher to also come and take us through the English procedure. And then, yes, the rest, we'll see what can be done about that. Thank you, my good people of God. It's been Reverend Awuku-Gyampoh. So let me get off the YouTube, and then we'll come to the face-to-face, and you can ask your questions. Thank you so much for your time.